Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. And today, as you can tell, I am shooting another video at the Kilian Boutique, 804 Washington in Manhattan. And I am joined by the wonderful, the one and only Steve Asus.
Thank you so much.
And today we're very excited because we're going to be talking about a recent release from Kilian Paris. And of course, this one is called Can't Stop Loving You. And this is one that I've read a lot about. I haven't had the opportunity to try it, but just looking at the note breakdown, it sounds amazing. Labdanum and honey and oak moss and incense, a little bit of an ambery accord as well. And of course, we have the expert himself here to tell us all about this fragrance. So what do we know about this one, Steve?
Well, Can't Stop Loving You. So first of all, just by looking at the bottle, you can tell that it's in the narcotics olfactive family. And the narcotics are all of the Kilian florals that are built like a narcotic dependence. Now, Can't Stop Loving You, really to express the emotion carried by the name Can't Stop Loving You, Kilian chose the orange blossom flower. Now, it happens to be that this flower grows in Andalusia, Spain, where he chose to build his home, but it's also the symbol of eternal love. And Kilian has a quote. He really talked about this idea of falling in love with someone. And he says, you know, you don't really fall in love with perfection. You can be attracted to someone who's gorgeous, but it's really their imperfections that make you fall in love with them. And when he started to build the raw materials around the orange blossom flower, he knew he wanted to mark this ingredient with some imperfections, using styrax, using labdanum cyst, to really mark the beauty of this flower. And little Can't Stop Loving You.
Okay, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. Wow, that's really nice. Oh, it's warm, it's sultry, it's sensual. Oh, it has the honey, that ambery facet about it. It's not overly balsamic or sticky or viscous. It has this sort of ethereal nature about it. I guess it's coming from the orange flower.
And that's like the beginning. That's like the very start is the orange blossom. That's what you get at the very opening. And by the way, the brand is not shy from using orange blossom. We've got another fragrance called Love Don't Be Shy.
Oh, sure, of course.
That also has orange blossom, has love in the name, but this fragrance has nothing to do with that one.
Quite different, yeah.
Quite different. But the use of orange blossom here in the opening, but once you get into the heart, you have the styrax. You have a little bit of honey for like a French delicious touch. But you've got the labdanum cyst. And when you're talking about that ambery, you're talking about that earthy, that's really where these ingredients in the heart are coming to play. And for those that don't know what the labdanum cyst is, right? So it's a plant. Happens to be that it grows also in Andalusia, Spain, where Kilian lives, which is unbelievable. But this plant, there's something very unique about this plant. So really to protect itself from the sun, it begins to drown itself in like this gum. And that theme of protection really hits something for Kilian when it comes to this brand, because you know the sides of all our bottles have an Achilles shield. We always talk about fragrance being this protective shield. So a little fun fact about the labdanum cyst. And then of course, in the base of the fragrance, you've got the vanilla, you've got the oak moss, you have a little bit of incense to really give it that Kilian touch, I would say.
That's interesting. Yeah, you mentioning the vanilla now, it kind of pieces together this amber accord. And like you mentioned, it's more of an emphasis on the labdanum because for me, it does kind of have like this enticing, exotic quality to it. Whereas with styrax, sometimes it could be a little smoky, a little medicinal, and I'm not getting a whole lot of that. I'm getting more of like the sensual, romantic, like exotic touch to it that I think the labdanum does so wonderfully here with the aid of the vanilla. It's actually quite nice. Wow.
Would you wear this?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I also wear love. You know, and it's funny with love, you have that sort of saccharine, marshmallow, vanilla goodness that's in there. And that one I think is a little bit more playful, still equally sensual, but I think this one has more of an air of maturity about it while still being very romantic and seductive. And so very different personalities.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, I can't stop wearing this one. It's just, I guess this idea of sensual, dark, seductive, all ways that I like to feel when I wear a fragrance. So as
Sure.
long as it can make me feel that way, this one definitely for me was a winner, but I was so curious to get your feedback on it.
No, of course, especially with, the posts that I read online, and, a lot of people have already started singing really high praise for it.
Yep.
And it seems like whenever we do delve into some of the darker, ambery, slightly sweeter offerings, whether it be, apple brandy on the rocks or angel share, I love those fragrances, right? So those are fragrances that I still find myself wearing, even in the hotter weather. I'll wear it like once a week or something like that, just because I really appreciate that DNA. So Can't Stop Loving You, I think, is kind of like an extension of that ambery goodness that we all know and love from the Kilian house, but still done in its own unique, idiosyncratic way. I think it's quite beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And to tell you guys a little bit about the scent, so this is a permanent part of the assortment. So if you're watching this and you're like, hey, is this limited life? It's not. It's a permanent part of our assortment. You can go to your favorite Kilian bar around the world and they'll have Can't Stop Loving You. We launched this fragrance Valentine's Day, and I guess most people can imagine why. I mean, just the name of the fragrance.
Right.
I mean, it's like the ideal gift to gift someone. I mean, I'm guilty, right? Like, needed a gift. Can't Stop Loving You. I mean, what is going to speak more about my emotions than that? But this is available everywhere. And for those of you that have already purchased it, the refills are dropping soon. So you'll actually be able to get the refill because, as you know, at Kilian Paris, true luxury should last forever. All of our fragrances are refillable. So the refill of this will be coming out soon. So for those that got it, you'll be able to get your refill at a Kilian bar near you very soon.
That's beautiful. And with such a beautiful bottle, like, who would want to discard that? Better for the environment, just get the refill. And I just love the name of the fragrance too. Like, it's such a nice sentiment. You mentioned giving it as a gift, and you think about names like, Rolling in Love or Love or, Can't Stop Loving You. I just think it's a really beautiful thing. And we kind of mentioned this on a separate occasion where you said, very rarely do we see the name of the ingredients in the name of the fragrance. And I actually appreciate that. I think it's more of an artistic take. And I think it would make for a much nicer and warmer sentiment when gifting it to somebody.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. And it's funny because we had a conversation with Kilian about this, and he mentioned something that I thought was so unique and different. He talked about how, like, imagine looking at like a painting that you see somewhere that you love.
Yeah.
If you were describing the painting to someone, would you say, oh my God, like the blues and the reds are just so beautiful? Or would you say, that painting made me feel a certain way? Same thing with the book. Whatever book you're reading, if you had to tell someone about the book you're reading, are you going to talk about the words that the author used? Or are you going to talk about what the story's about? And that's what I think most people that know the brand appreciate the most. And I love hearing you say that. But also people that are new to the brand. I mean, you can't pick up a bottle of Good Girl Gone Bad and know what's in the fragrance, right? There's a story, there's an emotion. It's meant to transform you. And to your point with gifting, so just because you brought it up, something that the brand has done with gifting is we launched and we now have something called the Kilian Gift Bar.
Okay.
And if you walk into a Kilian boutique, any Kilian bar around the world has a menu of services, and we have a service called the Gift Bar service. And this is year round. So gifting at Kilian Paris is not just a holiday moment, right? So you can pick any gift you want. And at the very back, you'll notice that you'll be able to choose which wrapping paper
get out of here.
you want to wrap your gift with, and a selection of different iconic quote cards that you can add to the gift to really make it personal, to really make it like a customizable gift.
I love that.
Yeah, and like the names, just make it, I mean, I'll give you an example. My mom wears a lot of gold jewelry, right?
Okay.
A lot of gold jewelry.
Woman in gold.
Woman in gold, right? Like, I needed to get her something. I was like, you know what, Mom? There is like, this was made for you. But yeah, the names can be playful, great for gifting, and happens to be that before you walked in today, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, this is so scripted. Not scripted. But I took the liberty of choosing a couple of gifts for you and for your loved ones.
Oh, come on, Steve. You didn't have to.
From the Kilian bar.
Thank you.
Absolutely. and we got them wrapped for you with different wrapping paper and different
Oh, that's so
cards.
cool. Thank you so much.
Our
That's
gift to
awesome.
you.
Wow. Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, man. I
We're
really
all
appreciate
about
that.
spoiling people at the Kilian bar.
That is really, really cool. And yeah, seeing it with the ribbon and everything, with the note and the personalization, it looks really, really, really nice. Wow. It's beautiful.
I'm happy you enjoyed it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Now,
Thank you.
since you're here at the bar,
Yeah.
there is another surprise we can talk about, and I don't think anyone's talked about this yet.
Okay.
So let me just put this back. But, one of the things that's unique about Kilian Paris and about having a founder like Kilian Hennessy is there's these super rare limited edition fragrances that sometimes launch.
Mhm.
And they're highly coveted by fans around the world. There is one of these super rare fragrances that is launching right now. So if you're watching this video, it is probably just about to launch if it didn't launch already.
Okay.
And I want to share it with you.
Okay.
So every year to celebrate Eid and the Middle East,
Of course.
Kilian Hennessy launches a special blend of his iconic Love Don't Be Shy fragrance. Every year, and if some of you may have seen this before, it's like Love Don't Be Shy, and it's got the year on the bottle.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Mm-hmm.
So this year, we are receiving the Love Don't Be Shy Amber Oud 2023. This is a super limited life fragrance. And here, Kilian marries the oud to the amber. And now you said you wear love, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So what are you getting when you smell this?
So, I love this. And I'm going to tell you why. I used to have a decant of amber oud.
Okay.
We remember amber oud,
Yep.
right? And obviously that's no longer in production. Is it fair to say that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And this one does in some ways remind me of a hybrid of love. It done very differently, of course, but kind of with that exotic touch.
Yeah.
Obviously, whenever you have amber, and of course it's, the ancestral use of amber and how long it's been around. And, it's just, wow, combined with the oud.
It's different, right?
And I get the impression that this is going to last a long, long, long time.
Yeah. Amber typically, when you think about amber as a base, in any fragrance, it's going to help to give that longevity, to your point. But here with that Love Don't Be Shy Gourmand, it's like really a perfect combination of ingredients, especially when you're talking about longevity, richness. When you smell the fragrance, it's super rich and different. And I love that you mentioned amber oud because actually it's the first thing I thought about when I smelled it. Yeah, it's the first thing I thought about. I was like, oh my God, this is amber oud, but there's like Love Don't Be Shy in the shadows, and it just smells incredible.
And it's so funny because there are people still talking about amber oud.
Yeah.
Like people online still talking about how that was like their favorite and they love it and they're like treasuring whatever little bit they have left. And I'm all out of that. So I haven't smelled it for many years. Yeah. But it's so funny to smell this and you have that sensual, playful nature of love. And, obviously there's so much goodness in love that made people fall in love with it. Yeah. It's, the citrus and the vanilla and the marshmallow and all these other like playful facets to it. And here you have that element of it, but it's made so rich and warm and exotic and mysterious and enigmatic. So it kind of adds like this added layer of personality to an existing classic. This is going to do really, really well. This isn't out yet?
It's not out yet. Okay. It's not out yet. You can't buy it. But here's what I'll share about this fragrance. You can only buy this fragrance at our freestanding store.
Okay.
And our website online. I think that in the United States, around the world, there'll be some retailers that carry it. So I can imagine like a Harrods in London would have this.
Okay.
A Bergdorf in New York would have it. But when you want to get your hands on a fragrance like this, you got to reach out to our freestanding stores. And again, this is super, super limited life. It's got the year 2023 engraved on the bottle.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a collector's piece. But for someone who's been following these kind of yearly special blends, I got to say this one's really special.
Wasn't there something similar that happened with Straight to Heaven Extreme And now everybody's talking about how do I get a bottle? How do I get a bottle?
There was, you know, and I tried not to be like the hype man, right? Because obviously, you know, if I'm going to tell you that it's limited, well, it's because we want to get people to go out there and get it, right? But it's real, right?
Yeah.
And it happens all the time where, you know, I'll even be on social media or the brand keeps getting these messages like, I want the bottle of Straight to Heaven Oud. I want Straight to Heaven Extreme. And, you know, I think that's one of the unique things about this brand is there's these limited life. If you're a fan and you can get your hands on them, great. But then they just go away. On a rare occasion, one will stay. And I think that happened with Love Don't Be Shy Extreme, where it just did so well. It was limited life and it stayed, but that's a rare occasion.
Well, I have very, very, very high hopes for this one, especially given my own personal adoration for Amber Oud and just that combination of ingredients and accords in general. So thank you so much for introducing us to this hidden gem, it seems, right? Like soon to be unearthed and uncovered. But today's session was very educational and I appreciate you for all the wonderful things and obviously the gift. You didn't have to do that.
It's with love.
I appreciate everything, Steve. Thank you so much for welcoming me into the bar and the boutique. And, you know, maybe I'll spend another half hour here trying everything else that you have to offer.
Please hang out.
There's always something to discover. I've purchased so many Kilian fragrances in the past and keep up the wonderful work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you watching.
So thank you, everybody. Once again, I'm going to leave information for all of the fragrances mentioned in this video down below, so definitely make sure to check it out. Obviously, we are at the Boutique 804 Washington in Manhattan, so I'm going to leave the address down below as well if you would like to, you know, stop by and check the place out. There's a lot to discover here. Once again, if you took something of value from this video, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload these daily videos. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. It would greatly assist with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.